Mosquitoes are out for blood this morning. Whoa, it's brutal. It's a humid, foggy, partially rainy kind of day this morning, and for some reason those mosquitoes are just having it out for us. As you can probably tell, my nose is red. I've been crying. I've been watching a video about Sinead O'Connor's funeral and passing, and a lady that analyzed her unknown cause of death, which isn't true. In Sinead's case, one could say the cause of death was trauma, childhood trauma. And the lady that made the video gave a really wonderful and beautiful explanation of how deeply impacted our life is by childhood trauma, and all of our diseases and diagnoses, mental health diagnoses of bipolar and all of that is all a misdiagnosis because childhood trauma is not understood enough. Thankfully, now in these days, we are becoming more and more trauma informed, and we can start looking at the root causes for all of our human dilemmas. And my particular, I'm a childhood trauma survivor of verbal abuse in the home, and then being subjected to spiritual abuse. And I put up a post this morning in just nudging out some of this unconscious trauma, and I said something to the extent of, can you imagine not to feel guilty for not believing in God? And I'm sure that the mere thought of that alone is bringing out all kinds of triggers and emotions in people who would hear me say that. The point is not of whether there is a God to believe in or not. The point is, would you feel guilty? Would you feel shamed for not believing in God, for not wanting to believe in God? The point is the traumatic trigger response. Do you feel guilt for even having that thought? And where does that guilt stem from, right? It stems from, if we just take this lifetime, it stems from childhood invalidation. You were made to feel guilty for not conforming to the fears of your parents and to the fears of your society that you grew up in. For example, I grew up in a Catholic little village, and you were guilted and shamed for not being Catholic. So that's a spiritual trauma that is the soul, that's embedded in the soul, and that is there. That feeling is there in the sub psyche, and we base all of our future decisions, life decisions, on that feeling. So I built my world, I created my world around a belief in God, around religion, to fit in, to belong. But that's all for the wrong reasons. I denied myself. I conformed to the expectation of the society around me. You have to be a Catholic or you are some unsavory heathen and you're going to hell. That's what a child grows up with. That's how many of you have grown up with. And it's not even about the thing that you believe in. It's about the denial of your heart and soul. That you were made to conform under threat, under fear, under guilt. You were made to feel guilty and ashamed. Of course, we don't want to feel guilty, so we have to conform. So that's why I make those kind of statements. They're kind of like a shock therapy to nudge out the subsurface feeling, the deeper feelings of, like in this example, of guilt. Would you feel guilty for not believing in God like I did? It wasn't an option in my village to not believe in God without being ostracized by the entire community. These things shape us, but they are not the true and authentic self that we would have been if we had not been compelled by shame and guilt. See, and we have a whole world shaped under these conditions, shaped by trauma. And none of us are living our authentic selves. That's why everything is so screwed up. But thankfully, like I said, we are gaining in self-awareness. We are becoming aware of our trauma. We're becoming aware of our soul, of our subconscious. And we can heal it, and we can take back our power. We can take back our identity. And most of all, the identity that we are the divine consciousness. There's nothing to believe in when you realize you are that. You don't need to believe in yourself to be real. You are that. And your divinity is real. You don't have to believe it. So anyways, that's my little morning rant. And the mosquitoes are having breakfast. Have a fine, fine day. And if your day is not going that well, if your emotions are in the tank, you're not alone. In fact, last night around 8 p.m. Mountain Time, I could feel my emotions, my energies tank towards the negative side, and it seems like that didn't just happen to me. It's almost like there was a negative EMP release that affected us all at the same time to bring down our emotions. So it will pass. Not everything is yours or belongs to you. Not everything you're feeling. So hang in there. What goes down must come up.